So, it's the end of the season, all competitions that aren't the Club World Cup have concluded, so what has been the result of these competitions? Today we're going to go over the top 5 leagues, the Prem, La Liga, Bundesliga, Ligue 1, and Serie A, and of course the Champions League, Europa League, and Conference Leagues. I'm also going to be talking about the different teams that have competed this year, and just my overall thoughts about them. Let's start off with Ligue 1. Well, there's not really much to talk about them besides PSG being absolutely dominant, man. I really underestimated how good this team was in general. I mean, I can't be the only person that thought this team's fall was going to be insane when they sold Mbappe to Madrid, right? Like, I'm not crazy for believing that, right? Luis Enrique created such a strong, diverse, and unexpectedly young team. These transfers throughout the season were also very good. Players like João Neves, Hugo Ekitike, Kavica Kvaratskhelia, Desiree Doué, William Pacho, all of these players are all very young and provide such strong assets on the attacking, midfield, and defending portions of the field. It really surprised me how well constructed this PSG team is, and you can feel it from each of the players, and you see it from the attackers especially. I gotta give a special shout out to the forwards like Doué and Kvaratskhelia. They were relentless on both sides of the field, dropping back when PSG loses the ball in order to get possession back, or attacking with elite precision to score. Destroying the league by 19 points and winning the title back in April, like a month before the ending of all the fixtures, PSG beat Ligue 1 with the largest point gap from the rest of the teams. PSG were such a very strong club this season, and how Luis Enrique has been running it, I have absolutely no doubts that they'll be a very strong club for the next couple of years. Now for the Bundesliga, well, Bayern wins again. But are we really surprised though? No, really, let's be honest. Do you guys really think that Leverkusen was going to surpass Bayern in the league consistently? On a real note though, I'm very happy that Harry Kane has finally won a trophy in his career and wasn't brought down from the terrible teams that have let him down in the past at Spurs. With him at Bayern, he'll bring us much more success and maybe even a UCL win in the future. Especially with Leverkusen losing some of their best players in the transfer window like Jonathan Tah, Florian Wirtz, and Jeremy Frimpong, Bayern are much more likely to succeed in the future. At the beginning of the season, I was a bit skeptical with Kompany as our manager, but with the transfers that he's brought in, like Ito from Stuttgart, Palhinha from Fulham, and Michael Olise from Crystal Palace, I was given much more confidence in not only winning the league, but also possibly going really far in the Champions League. With me being a Bayern fan, of course I'm going to be biased and say that my team was the best team, but if I'm being realistic, I genuinely think that this team was one of the best European teams this season. Next up we have Serie A, and just wow man, it's genuinely so crazy to me that Inter was so close to a treble and fumbled it so badly. But we'll talk more about Inter in the later part of the video. For now, let's talk about Napoli because wow man, even with the loss of Osimhen and Kvara, Napoli managing to claw their way back to another title is so genuinely impressive to me. Second league title in about 3 years, honestly one of the most underrated clubs these past couple of seasons. Lukaku and Scott McTominay coming over from the Premier League, which at this point were considered washed and finished players, proved everyone that they're still high performing players and show that they can still compete. Along with the addition of Kevin De Bruyne from City, they have a very solid chance of going back to winning Serie A and making it very far in the UCL. If Napoli want to keep competing consistently for the next couple of years, they need to invest into some younger players. Some of their best players like Di Lorenzo, Scott McTominay, Lukaku, David Neres, Juan Jesus, and now KDB are all either close to 30 or pushing 30 and will eventually be on the decline. Napoli is one of those very underdog/underrated teams that you never expect to go for because on paper their team isn't really all that good, but in practice they're a pretty coherent team. Next up we have La Liga, man. Barcelona, Hansi Flick, oh my goodness. Being fully honest with you guys, I think Barcelona has a case for being the best team this season, and Hansi Flick for being one of, if not the best manager this season. And I say this because he succeeded with a pretty underwhelming Barca team coming into the season for one, and he also did it with only around 2 new transfers that made a solid impact. With the main additions of Szczesny and Dani Olmo, these were very strong additions for both the midfield and goalkeeping positions of the field. Szczesny being the main goalkeeper for this season because Ter Stegen was injured and Iñaki Peña was terrible. Yes, I will be pushing the Peña sucks agenda until he puts on a world-class performance. They got domestic treble this season, winning La Liga, the Copa del Rey, and Spanish Super Cup. Special shout out to Lewa, Kubarsi, Rafinha, and of course Lamine Yamal, man. Lewandowski performing at such a high level despite being 36 years old is astounding to me. Kubarsi performing amazing as well while only being 18 years old is also amazing to me. And Lamine Yamal, I think, speaks for himself, man. He was a genuine threat to every team he's had to play against and has become one of, if not the best attacker this season, while again, only being 17 years old. Call me crazy, but he was generally a top 6 to 7 best attacker this season. Oh yeah, I almost forgot about Rafinha. Easily one of, if not his best season as a Barca player, man. His UCL campaign was incredible. 13 goals and 9 assists in 13 appearances. Bro, I did not know he was like this, man. Genuine Ballon d'Or candidate for this season. With the addition of Nico Williams boosting their attack for next season, I have no doubt that Barcelona will conquer for these next couple of years. Yeah, so this is me like a couple days in the future, and let's just say that transfer didn't really hold up all too well. And now on to the Premier League. Man City stopped winning. Look, that's all that really matters right about now, man. I don't care all that much that Liverpool won the league. Congratulations to them and everything. But I'm just so tired of seeing City win all the goddamn time, man. Anyways, though, Liverpool won the league, last winning it in 2020. And this team is actually a really well-balanced team. Mo Salah being a standout for this team, being arguably their best player. In about 38 appearances, he scored 29 goals with 18 assists, being the team's top goal scorer of the season. Another very solid Ballon d'Or candidate for this season. Arne Slot did an amazing job for his first year as their manager, showing how much he's adapted to England. Their transfer window this season has been pretty underwhelming, all things considered, with the only notable transfer being Chiesa from Juventus, which gave some slight skepticism for Slot from the fans and his prowess as a manager. But he obviously proved them wrong. This summer, however, has been rather amazing for the Reds. While losing Trent to Madrid, they brought Frimpong to replace him and Florian Wirtz for their midfield. Arne Slot has a pretty good grasp of what he's doing, and I cannot wait to see what he and Liverpool have in store for next season. I'd probably sign a new center back for this season, but besides that, I cannot wait to see what they're going to do with this upcoming season. This was genuinely one of the most interesting and intriguing UCL campaigns that I've ever witnessed. I really couldn't believe how well PSG has performed this season in Europe. When I saw them lose to Liverpool in the first leg in the round of 16, I had absolutely no hope that they would win this competition at all. Then the second leg came through, Cavada scored, and forced the game into extra time, and then penalties. With Donnarumma being probably one of, if not the best goalkeeper to ever take and save penalties, along with Darwin Núñez taking a penalty for Liverpool for some reason, I absolutely changed my mind on who was winning the game. I'm not gonna lie, I would literally have anyone else take a penalty that isn't Darwin Núñez or Alvaro Morata. Regardless, PSG moved on and faced Aston Villa in the quarterfinals and very narrowly beat them. They faced Arsenal in the semis and beat them very narrowly again. Then came the final against Inter Milan. Now look, me personally, I thought that this would have been an absolute nail-biter. I thought that this was going to be the best game of the season. I remember watching the game after halftime to check the score being 2-0 to PSG winning. And when I tell you that PSG gave belt to ass to Inter Milan, it was so bad. It was like watching a father disciplining their child for misbehaving in school. Honestly, one of the craziest beatdowns I've ever seen in Europe ever. The Europa League, bro. Tottenham finally wins a trophy. Heung-min's son finally wins a trophy. This is honestly the highlight of the season, and almost nothing else compares to it. I think the best part about this is that they've beaten Manchester United in the final, who has also had problems these past couple of seasons. This was such an interesting final due to the fact that this was each of these clubs' only chances of accomplishing something this season, since they both finished extremely poorly in the league this season, being 15th for United and 17th for Tottenham. Now for the Conference League, Chelsea have won it. Nothing much really to say about it. They defeated Betis like 4-1 if I remember correctly. Honestly, there was no doubt in my mind that they were going to win it, since those European teams are pretty trash if I'm being honest. Like I said, the only real comp for them was Betis, and the only reason why is something I'll get into in a minute. This is not a good Chelsea team, however. Even though they did win a trophy, this team is really not that good. They need another striker because Nkunku isn't cutting it at all, and they need better defenders and wingers because Badiashile and Wesley Fofana are pretty underwhelming. But they somehow managed to get fourth in the Premier League. How the hell is that even possible? Alright, now that I've gotten all the different competition out of the way, let's talk about the different clubs. Starting off with some Bundesliga teams. I would start with PSG, but I pretty much covered everything that I need to in the Liga and review. Now with that being said, let's start off with Bayern Leverkusen because holy hell, what has happened to them. And look, I'm not even talking about this season because even though they didn't win anything this season, I don't really care all that much. Bayern were always the better team than Leverkusen, so I never saw them ever superseding their excellence. But I do want to talk about their transfer window from these past couple of weeks. They lost Florian Wirtz and Jeremy Frimpong to Liverpool, and Jonathan Tah to Bayern. Not only that, Xabi Alonso went to Real Madrid as their new head coach, and they replaced him with Erik ten Hag, who previously coached Manchester United, and we all know how well that turned out. I don't know how well Ten Hag will do at Leverkusen, because if we know anything about United, is that it makes everyone around them genuinely much worse. I don't understand it. It's almost like a curse. He might do better in a lower level league when it comes to performances, so the Bundesliga might be where he needs to be. But I don't think that Ten Hag could ever do what Alonso has done with this team in any way possible. And if he ever does beat Bayern in the league, I will delete my channel. Next up, we have Borussia Dortmund. And the only thing that I want to highlight about them is that they've signed Joe Bellingham. Now, will he become as great as his brother before him? Only time will tell. What I will say though is that with his first appearance at the Club World Cup, he scored for them and got man of the match. So he's already off to a great start. If he can keep this form in the Bundesliga and in the Champions League, he will very much become as great and maybe even better than his brother. Now, obviously, Bayern won the league, but that's not what I want to talk about in this section when I'm talking about Bayern. I want to talk about their transfer window. Honestly, I miss Leroy Sané, man. He's been my favorite winger for the team for a while now, but I completely understand why he was sold. His poor form and attitude can't be overlooked, and with Elise pretty much doing the same thing at a better efficiency and being younger than Sane, it just makes sense to get rid of him. I think Company's actually a pretty solid manager for the team. I really think that he did bad at the clubs where he was at before was because he didn't have the money to buy the players. So when he went to a high tier club with the money he needed to make solid moves, he was able to do it pretty efficiently. Getting Paulinho, Olise, and now Jonathan Tah is absolute proof of this. To be honest, at this point, anything is better than Tuchel as our manager, so I'll take it. I think Company should invest in a young striker for this team because even though Harry Kane has been performing amazingly, losing Matthias Tell was a pretty substantial blow to the team offensively. Having a player come off the bench and play anywhere up top and be able to give absolutely everything is always going to be valuable to this team. Real Madrid is one underwhelming pile of ass, man. It absolutely astounds me how they couldn't win anything this season. How in the world do they not win with a team that consists of Mbappe, Vinny, Rodrigo, Bellingham, Tchouaméni, Camavinga, Rudiger, etc.? Look, you already know how amazing this team is at this point. This team is so good, it's probably someone's ultimate team in foot champs. I will say, though, that Mbappe has had an amazing season. People at the beginning of the season, like back in October to November, thought he was going to be bad, but I mean, come on, dude, it's Mbappe. He's going to perform no matter what during the season. In 61 appearances, he's got 50 goal contributions. The main problem that Madrid is suffering from is that they're suffering from success. Like I said, they have some amazing players, but they don't play half of them because they don't fit on the team. Players like Endrick and Arda Güler get literally no playing time because of their competition like Valverde, Tchouaméni, Mbappe, Brahim, etc. They also suck ass on the defensive side as well. They suck so much on the defensive side that Tchouaméni is playing center back half the time he gets on the pitch. I think Xabi Alonso can see these problems because he did just bring Dean Huijsen from Bournemouth, so at the very least he's aware of the problems that Madrid are facing and knows how to fix them. But I really wonder what he's going to do about all these other players that don't get consistent playing time. Also, they should very much sell David Alaba or cancel his contract. Either one works, to be honest. And if you think I sound crazy, just hear me out for a second. When was the last time you've seen David Alaba play football? And I'm not just talking about good performance, I'm just saying in general. When was the last time that you've seen David Alaba play football for Real Madrid? It feels like dude has been injured for like 2 years at this point. Just sell him, bro, because he's just taking up space. Hey, man, I love Atletico Madrid, but if I'm being honest, they haven't had many outstanding or memorable moments during the season. I could talk about how they completely got hoed over in the UCL round of 16 penalty shootout, but honestly, nobody cares about that anymore. One thing I will say about them, though, Julian Alvarez was genuinely one of the best signings this team has ever made. I don't know why Simeone signed him because he really doesn't feel like an Atletico player, but he's had such a great season for them. 37 goal contributions in 57 matches is pretty damn good for a team that's pretty much defense first all the time. Although there are rumors that say he's not happy at the club and he wants to move to like Barca or something, I really hope that he stays. They've recently signed Alex Baena from Real, which is a pretty good signing, but with Simeone's coaching style, I don't know how well of a transfer this really is. I think it'll be beneficial though, because what I'm noticing from these last couple of transfers like Alvarez, Conor Gallagher, and Sorloth, all these players are very attacking oriented, so maybe Simeone is trying to slowly transition into a more attacking form of football. Or hell, maybe I'm just nerding out and talking out of my ass, I don't know. Regardless, I can't wait to see what Atletico has in store for us in the future. Real Betis, man. Anthony, oh my goodness, bro. This man has had one of the greatest loan spells that we've ever seen from a player from this decade. Please keep him away from Manchester United. Please, God. All Anthony really needs to do is just leave United so we can have a chance to actually play well and get a second chance, because I think it's pretty obvious that it's United that's the problem here. As soon as Anthony hit Betis, they were like mid-table in the La Liga, like somewhere around 10th to 12th place in the league. Anthony almost single-handedly brought them to a conference final and up to 6th in the league at the end of the year. In 26 appearances for Betis, he got 9 goals and 5 assists. I know it doesn't sound all that impressive in the grand scheme of things, but these were his stats in January till June, so approximately only 6 months. So imagine what he could have done if he was there for a whole calendar year. Even though he didn't win anything with them during his loan spell, that alone is such a great achievement and accomplishment and proves that he's still a very good player. Not too much to say about the rest of the squad entirely though, maybe besides the fact that Isco has performed extremely well this season as well, but he always performed, and the only reason why people don't talk about it all that much is that he plays for Real Betis and he's 33 years old. I don't know about you, but 12 goals and 11 assists in 34 appearances in all competitions is pretty damn good for a 33-year-old on a usually mid-table team. Okay, Inter Milan, now we're getting somewhere because oh boy, where do we start? How in the hell do you mess up this bad? Like I said earlier, it's so crazy how Inter had the possibility to win a treble in the final month of the season and then completely blow it to AC Milan in the Coppa Italia, losing by 1 point to Napoli in the league and getting absolutely disciplined. Not beat, disciplined by PSG. Dude, the loss was so bad that the board fired Inzaghi from the team. I honestly couldn't tell you what Inter's problem is. I don't know if the players just ran out of steam last minute, if Inzaghi's tactics were that bad during the end of the season, or maybe it was a mixture of both. But regardless, they absolutely fumbled badly this season, and it's so sad. Even though they completely dropped the ball this season, this is still a pretty solid squad, all things considered. The only real problems that they're facing is that the players are getting a bit older, and the tactics that Inzaghi had were a bit outdated. Maybe hiring Christian Chivu is what this team needs, but I personally don't know. I didn't pay too much attention to Parma, the team he managed this season. Actually, hold on. How did Parma do in this Serie A season? Oh. Well, maybe this is like a Vincent Kompany situation where he needs a bigger budget with better players to adjust and win. I wish nothing but the best for Chivu and Inter in the future. No, but seriously though, how do you have a 5-back concede 5 goals? That literally shouldn't be possible. And for Arsenal, dude, what the hell is your problem? Similar to Inter Milan, they really suffered during the end part of the year and still haven't won anything at all. Arteta, please sign a striker. I get that Mikel Merino is a pretty great option up top, but let's be honest, he's still a goddamn midfielder. You guys need a 9, someone that can do that consistently. I think Mikel Merino's a great player, but again, he's not a forward, he's a box-to-box midfielder. Getting second in the league for like the 3rd time or whatever, I don't know, and honestly, I stopped caring. They haven't won anything since like the FA Cup back in 2020, and honestly, I'm tired of still believing that this club will continue to actually win things. I will say this about them though, their UCL campaign was pretty okay. The Arsenal vs Madrid quarterfinal was honestly really damn good. The Declan Rice free kicks and the Merino finish in the box had me believing that this team could actually win the competition. I mean, they proceeded to get destroyed by PSG in the semifinals, but the point I'm making is that they for sure have the talent to go far and win, but they haven't capitalized off it yet, and honestly, I don't know if they ever will. Arsenal have a very talented squad, but something really needs to change, like desperately. Unfortunately, Man City didn't win the league for like the 13th time. That is most likely though because Rodri was injured for pretty much the entire season. He pretty much is the heart and soul of this team, and it really doesn't function without him. I mean, it's the main reason why he won the Ballon d'Or this season, and yes, he did deserve the Ballon d'Or last year. You guys don't seem to understand how important Rodri is to that Man City team. I mean, we literally saw it this season. Without Rodri, Man City don't win the league. As a matter of fact, they don't even get second place. They got 3rd somehow. And I'm not trying to discredit Vinny here, but if you were to take him out of that Real Madrid during the 2023-24 season, I personally think they would still do okay without him. Yes, their attacking output would be pretty hampered, all things considered, but they still have a lot of players who can get a goal like Jude Bellingham. Hell, in my opinion, Valverde and Bellingham were better that season than Vinny was. Now, enough about Madrid. Man City were pretty underwhelming this season. However, they're making it up in the transfer window. Before that, I want to give a special shout out to Marmoush, which absolutely shocked me. Dude has had such a great season, shining in a Man City team that was pretty mediocre without Rodri for the majority of it. Now on to the signings of this season though. Signing Ryan Cherki from Lyonnais and Tijani Reinders from Milan really helps to boost this midfield. Not gonna lie, these new additions are pretty damn scary, and with Pep's coaching, they could very easily get another triple within the next couple of years. Man City are definitely cooking something scary, and I can't wait to see what they come up with for the next season. Manchester United, wow, you guys are ass. I genuinely don't know what else I could say about you guys. You've been trash for like the past 2 to 3 years. It's honestly really sad. At first, people thought it was because of Ten Hag, but then they got Ruben Amorim and they still did bad in the league. Almost to the point of relegation. It's not even that their transfers weren't even all that bad. De Ligt, Ugarte, Lenny Yoro, Xerxes, and Mazraoui were all pretty good prior to joining Man United. I genuinely don't understand why this team is failing. They have the quality of players, but there might be some sort of disconnect between the players and the staff. So far, they signed Mateus Cunha from Wolves, which is a pretty solid signing, but again, it's Man United we're talking about. If they don't fix something within their coaching staff, they're very likely to get relegated next season. They're also currently working to sign Mbeumo and Gyökeres, and I just have to ask, why are you guys signing so many forwards? Like, you already have 3 strikers. You don't need any more, I can promise you that. Also, while you're at it, please just sell Højlund, bro. Please, God. He's been so unbearably trash this season, like more than usual. Send him to a different league like Ligue 1 or the Bundesliga, and I bet he'll probably do great. But if he stays at United, he'll just continue to be trash and his career will suffer. Even though it's very funny to see Man United be this bad, remember, this was a club that used to win things and be a genuine threat in the Premier League. Even though this team was pretty terrible, I will say that Kobbie Mainoo has been exceptional this season. A bright spot in this really bad team. Honestly, one of the best players in the world right now. I just hope they don't do him like Marcus Rashford though. Have him be really good for like 4 years, give or take, and then sell him to a mid/high tier club, because if he develops like this, he might be the team's best player in a couple of years. Man United have so much more to do in this transfer window, and I hope they get their act together before the season starts. Look, Tottenham might have won a trophy this season, but that does not excuse how terrible they were in the Premier League this season. If I said that Manchester United was close to relegation, dude, Tottenham almost got relegated by like only a couple of points, dude. Postecoglou might have won them Europa, but it's still obvious that this team has problems with all assets of the pitch. Their defense is pitiful, their attack is really underwhelming, and their midfield is just really uncreative. A couple weeks ago, they did hire Thomas Frank from Brentford to try and bring them out of this slump. So far, they haven't made any notable transfer yet, but that'll most likely change in the future. Hopefully they get a better defense because oh boy did they lose a lot this season. Now that I got all the teams I want to talk about out of the way, I want to see who was the best team of the season, and for me, I rented it down to two clubs, Barcelona and PSG. And honestly, you could kind of go either way with these two teams. They both dominated in their respective leagues, with both teams winning trebles. You could argue that Barcelona faced harder competition in their respective league due to them playing in La Liga, which is true to a certain extent. With that being said, you could also argue that PSG were much more dominant to the point where they completely destroyed every competition they played in. They did win Ligue 1 all the way back in April before all the fixtures had concluded. Now Barcelona did defeat Madrid with that fake ass super team that they tried to create. So with that being said, they technically accomplished more in the league compared to PSG. All of these things being said, however, I think that PSG was the best team this season due to their utter domination over every competition that they played. Their UCL campaign did start a little bit shaky, but after defeating Liverpool on penalties in the round of 16, it was pretty much smooth sailing for them for the rest of the competition. And of course, they completely trashed Inter in the final 5-0 to complete their treble. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll hopefully see you guys in the next video. I just wanted to say one more thing before we left. Diogo Jota and his brother Andre Silva has passed away on July 3rd, 2025 in a tragic car accident. My genuine condolences and sympathies go out to their family and friends and everyone who has suffered from this tragic event. It's very terrible what happened to these two amazing players, but I just wanted to remind you guys that life is very, very precious, and just tell your loved ones that you love them while you still have them and spend as much time as you possibly can with them. It's very tragic, especially for someone like Diogo Jota, who's had so many things happen in these past couple of months. He won the Premier League, he won the Nations League, and he got married all within the span of like around 2 to 3 months since his passing. And it's honestly so crazy how hard life can hit out of absolutely nowhere and take such an innocent life from this world. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you guys in the next video.